it's time for the most ambitious mystery I've performed for you yet. Or even not yet. I don't know. We'll watch. I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Not only do I have a deck of cards, but I have a permanent ink pen. This is very important. Let's see. I'll spread them out. Would you be so kind to take any card out of there you like? That was a nice, easy choice. Excellent. How I'll use the pen is, if you don't mind, would you sign your name nice and big across there? Sign your card, your name, just like you sign your check, please. That might come in handy later. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Let's recap. My thoughts exactly. We'll throw that one out. As I mentioned, this is the most ambitious mystery so far. Your card, with your signature on it, the only one like it on the face of the earth, pretty important, is going to go right into the deck. There it is, into the pack. All I do is give the cards a brief mixing, and I will take a peek to see if it came to the face. Nope. Maybe it came to the very top of the deck. No such luck. Although it is a 2, that's interesting. It is a very interesting thing. Watch this, a little wiggle, and your card jumps right to the very top of the deck. You see, it's a very ambitious card. Watch, this time I'll actually place your card deep into the pack. Wait, ooh, pardon me for getting messy on that one there. Into the pack it goes. You can see the depth at which it goes in. A little riffle like that, it jumps right back to the very top. There's that 2 of spades again. That's interesting. That's kind of disconcerting, I would say. Not to the top. Well, how about the face? No, there's his cousin, the 3 of spades. I knew your card would be here somewhere. Let me try it in this manner, if we could. Let's see. Your card, I will, and we have to use very, very precise means on this. I will put it right about here, and if you wouldn't mind, just sort of nudge the card into the pack, if you would.
Oh my goodness.
I seem to have one card on the tip of my tongue. I think it's your card.
Wow.
You see, no matter where you put this card in the deck, you could place the card in the middle of the middle. Now that's the middle, but this is the middle of the middle. A little riffle, and it comes right back to the top. No matter how many times you put it in there, just like this, it always jumps back to the very top. In fact, would you hold out one hand just like this? You're going to love this. The 2 of hearts goes right here. I'll put the rest on there. And just that fast. There it is.
That's amazing.
Well, now it's time for one of the more unusual parts to this. In fact, for the final part of this little mystery right here, I'd like to place a bend in this card. I call this the San Francisco bend. The reason I call it that is because you can see that bend all the way from San Francisco. Watch now as that card, the one with the bend, goes about halfway into the deck, just like this. Watch very closely. It pops
No way.
right
That is
up
weird.
No way.
visibly. You are a wonderful audience. I'll recommend you everywhere.
Oh, that was
Thank you.
great. Excellent.
The ambitious card trick is one of the all-time best mysteries with a pack of cards. A couple of points at the beginning. Remember this, the ambitious card trick must use a signed card. So you do need a permanent inked type marking pen to have somebody sign the card. The reason for that fact is that you want them to know that, of course, there is only one card like it, autographed by them, in the deck. This is an important point in this mystery. There is no duplicate card. You do not want your audience to think that. With that in mind, you are now ready to perform the ambitious card trick. As the name implies, the card is ambitious. It keeps rising to the top. So, you would begin by having the card returned to the deck and controlled in any one of the simple manners you like possible. The cards are shuffled, cut, a combination of these things. You can, of course, look at these various slides up in detail in the slight section of our DVD. The first time the card has been controlled to the top of the deck. I now, of course, use a double lift. A snap, the card rises to the top. Oh gosh, I say, I thought you signed the card. Wait a minute, that isn't your card yet, is it? Anyway, I give the cards a little wiggle, for example, and now the card pops right to the top of the deck. There's revelation number one. Now there are a number of other ways to do this. For example, I would take the card and use the depth illusion. In other words, I lift up on the top card, so from the back there is a little bit of a space. From the front, of course, there is no difference in the front of the cards. This, of course, to the audience is the front, and this is merely the top of the pack. So the depth illusion provides for the fact that it looks as though the card is going deep into the deck, when in reality it is going merely second from the top. Be sure, of course, to guard this angle from your audience's view. This is what the audience believes is happening. The card is going in from the back. I turn the card over and show this is lifted. The card goes into the pack. It is pushed in. The cards are riffled. And now I do another double lift, and it looks like the card has traveled right to the top of the deck. Now remember, since this is a double lift, of course, when I turn these two cards back down, I can take off what the audience believes is the selected card. I can now do a number of things with it. I can take the entire balance of the deck, give it a slight bevel, and place it on top of the pack if I like. Place a finger right here is helpful, and you say, watch now as you'll see the card run right to the top of the deck. The riffling procedure that they see with the thumb and the fingers looks as though that card is actually running up the pack and right to the top. Once you do that, you may wish to turn the pack over and show that it is not here, of course. Another method you can use for this is once you have done a double lift and shown the card back on top, you can also then, keeping the card face up for a while, ask a spectator to place their hand on the table palm up. You say, watch very closely if you would. You then turn over that card and place it onto the palm of their hand. Remember, that is an X card, just an unknown card. These cards, the rest of them now, go on top of what they believe is their card. Remember, this is on a spectator's hand at this point, like this. The cards are in their hands. This is very important. You then ask them to tap the top of it, and then they can even turn over that card. And it will be even more amazing because, of course, the cards are in their hands at the time. Here now is another very nice slight move, if you want to call it that, to use. Once they have taken their card and they are holding it and they have the look of astonishment on their faces, you are going to do the following. As I'm holding the cards in my hand, I'm going to pull down with my little finger this one single card at the bottom of the deck. I will now catch a break with my right hand with that thumb. It is square across the front here. It is just broken away at the back. Now what I want to do is I want to hold the cards level, not tipped like this, but level. And I'm going to kick cut off a group of cards. I will now ask for this card to be returned face down. I now push it over and use the right hand pack to lever this over, flipping it. Notice how this right hand pack completely eclipses, covering the pack at the moment you do this. You do this a couple of times, saying, now I want you to keep your eyes on that two of hearts. Remember, that's the card you have signed. What I'm now going to do is drop this card off on top of this two when I turn it over. This now substitutes the card at the bottom of this pack for the two. you have just now added a card on top of the actual 2. This is very deceptive. From the front, when this goes over, when it revolves over, it will just drop right on top. And as your hand moves aside, everyone will believe that is the 2. I now push the 2 off, and I'm going to very carefully, this is the acting job, I'm very carefully going to push it into the pack. Now this move is an absolute killer that you're about to see for your audience. Here's what happens. As I push this card in, make sure, of course, the face is not glimpsed by your audience at all. And I say, now, if you would, as you reach forward, you ask your audience, just nudge that card into the deck as if you would. As I'm doing that, I'm gesturing with my left hand, and my left hand gets close to and approaches near my face just slightly as I'm gesturing. Now, as my hand reaches out far to meet their hand, as soon as I see their fingers pushing this card into the pack, I know that the audience's eyes are focused on that card going in. As I am doing that, this hand then moves slowly but quickly, slowly, smoothly, and quickly to my mouth, and I push this card off and take the card right between my teeth. That's the actual selected card. The audience believes it has gone into the pack. This card is in my mouth. Once it is in my teeth up here, I now bring the left hand down to the table. It approaches where they were just last looking. I put these cards together, give them a riffle, pause with my hands, and allow the audience's eyes to look at my face. When they do, this card will be between my teeth. This is an absolute surprise to your audience. So there is one more revelation in the ambitious card. Now for the final revelation, once I have this card second from the top in a double lift position, remember I now have 2 cards. I now give the cards actually, a bend. I pull it all the way over, as you can see, like this. Remember, you have 2 cards, so you have to be a little careful here. You see, I'm going to put the San Francisco bend in the cards. I call it the San Francisco bend because you can see that bend all the way from San Francisco. Now remember, your audience will think that is their signed card bent at this point, but you know better, it's over here, and you have to make sure you keep your thumb on top of it so that it does not warp or show. Now, this bent card then goes into the deck. Careful you don't flash the face. You allow the audience to see it go in. You are now going to hit the audience with the final climax. You're going to hold it tight on these edges. The bent card went into the center. Now when I loosen my grip here and here, it pops up. This is extremely visual. I draw the card off, I toss it to the table, and the mystery has reached its grand finale. I now give that card to my audience member. By the fact that they get this as a souvenir, it has frozen the moment of magic, and your audience has a great souvenir. That is the ambitious card.